de mis medicina here to give you a collective reading today, July 24th. I missed Thursday Thunder yesterday. It's been a lot going on in the family. Oh, so much. I wanted to go on yesterday, but to be truthful, I was in a lot of grief and anger. Mostly about the system. When I get mad, like it's like my people who I love inspire the madness or the anger, if you will. But it's not at them, it's at the system that created the belief systems around all the things and how it continues to perpetuate situations that are not of optimal wellness, specifically for the sons, the daughters, the children of the formerly enslaved and genocided upon, aka by POC, Black Indigenous people of color. And when we say Black Indigenous people of color, specifically what we mean is the people who have suffered the most for the American dream to be a reality, who continue to suffer at the expense of their own soul truth without even knowing it, based on the systems of colonialism that have been in place for centuries. Y'all know what I'm about. If you don't, you will soon. So anyways, I love to offer my services to the collective, and I am going to do so otra vez for y'all. I think I'm going to use my Mother Peace Tarot deck because I could use some motherly peace right now. Yeah, so any questions, any presents, go ahead and put that out there with you, how you're feeling. Ometeo, Great Spirit, Tonkashila. All the angels, all the saints, all the manifestations of all that is divine in all of our cultures, God, Goddess, all that is. Grandmother, grandfather, spirits, ancient beings, elevated ones, ascended masters, be here with us now. Great Spirit, I ask that all of our highest selves are here now, that any low vibrational energies, huchas, spirits, attachments that are not for our highest healing be gone now. I ask for the energy of slowly and quickly blooming flowers. I ask for the energy of fragrance of these flowers that fill our sinuses with positive memories. Great Spirit, I'd ask for the strength of a seed moving through its shell toward the sun in the darkness of the wet earth. Great Spirit, I ask for the collective strength ancestrally and beyond to come through. I ask for the star being helpers. Thank you for being here. May we be present in our current truths, regardless of what we think of them, regardless of our judgments, regardless of the pain, regardless of the joy, regardless of what we think should happen. May we be present with what is, that we may witness, that we may see, so we may honor accordingly. Here we go. Four of Cups transverse. So this is like where we're at right now. This is the a human crossing a river, and the river isn't that deep. It's very long though, and things are very different on different sides of the river, but mostly internally. So what I'm seeing for the Four of Cups is really like taking note of where we are. So how the prayers came in, it's like everything that you're experiencing is valid. all the suffering, all the grief, all the pain, all the hesitation, all the I'm not sure, all the what the fuck is all valid as fuck. So this is just us being in the water, and we're not drowning though. It's really cool. We're being really present. So this is a reminder that wherever you are, be there, because our determination at times to distract ourselves keeps us from realizing that the water is shallow and there's not that far to go, if that makes sense. Hi, prima. I miss you. I love you. Give my tío a kiss for me. 2 of Cups. So this is very interesting. The 2 of Cups often represents the lovers. And it are 2 people sharing. This to me speaks to the current events as well. As you can see, it's a perceivedly black merman and a white mer woman. I don't know who made this deck. I don't know exactly what their intentions are. What I'm seeing is, once again, this need to really listen to our black brethren, our black kindred, a need to honor the spiritual calls of our black siblings, and let them show us how, specifically to work in the risings, in the movements. This is also calling us to our own histories. This is calling us to being our own mixed blood selves and honoring both sides of us, honoring the colonized and the colonizer in us, honoring the slave and the master in us, because the history of America is a lot of violence, a lot of rape, and if we are not actively healing that within ourselves, then we are actively distancing and dividing ourselves within ourselves, if that makes sense. This is also a call to the dream world, a call to asking our ancestors for help in the dream world. More is going to come on that in a minute. This was upside down. So actually it's coming through right now. Something that's been really hard for me during these times, and trying to negotiate it as a güerita, as a light-skinned Chicana, with that privilege, but also feeling like, I was raised straight up in like a hood-ass Chicano experience, but also with an indigenous understanding. So there's a lot that I personally grapple with on like how to honor all parts of me, how to leverage my privilege for good, but also not forget where I come from, and not turn away from a lot of, honestly, like stuff I would rather not see in my own hood. And it's been very prevalent recently. A lot of the youth in my community are strung out on pills right now. Very reminiscent to the civil rights movement from beforehand. As when my mom grew up, a lot of the Vietnam vets came back strung out on heroin. So there's just a lot of really interesting parallels. This card was upside down, and in here there's this like black and white working together, right? Communing, loving one another. This is not, I don't want to make it all frou-frou, like we all have to get along, but more like remembering how divisive structures have made it. Remembering how the government and how the powers that were, or the powers that still are, thrive off of us being against one another, thrive off the two-party system, thrive off of this duality, and us not being able to actually connect and work together. So this is a call to us who are angry as fuck, a call to us who are divided as fuck, to really not be not angry. Our anger is totally righteous. Not be blind, but also be willing to see beyond the divisiveness. Ask questions before you make conclusions. Yeah? Okay. Hi, Jalen. Nice to see you, beautiful. The Two of Discs is often represented as someone with an infinity sign, like dancing between them. In this card, it's a mama carrying two babies and the medicine wheel with a snake. This card for us today calls us to remember to keep what is sacred protected. Keep our children protected, keep our bodies protected. If we have to go out, do what feels good to keep yourself and others protected. I also feel called to speak to the masks now, right? You know, I'm a revolutionary. I don't trust the fucking government by any means. What I do care about is my familiars. What I do care about are whether my elders feel safe. What I do care about are the systemic injustices that have predisposed Black, Brown, and Indigenous bodies to being immunodeficient already based on their disconnection from their cultures, their plants, their lineages, their medicinas, their earth connection, and given Franken foods that fuck up our immune system. Like, the reason why there are pre-existing conditions is colonialism. That's part of medical racism, where they say pre-existing conditions because Black and brown bodies are just more prone to getting diabetes. Nah, motherfuckers, they're more prone to getting fed your bullshit because it's cheap, because you keep commodities, right? So there's a lot here. However, regardless of all of that, the truth of the matter is people feel safer when you wear a mask. So are you going to be an asshole because you have a belief system? Regardless of that's true or not, that's not my concern. Like I said, I don't trust the government. I don't trust Bill Gates. I don't trust epidemiology as it stands in a world full of corrupt science. What I do trust is my heart wanting to honor the people. That's what I trust. So I ask all of you, regardless of your stance or what you think of the government, like when you see that viejita, that when you see that grandparent, when you go to the grocery store and there are people who are worried about their children, especially if they're Black and brown bodies, be kind, be considerate, and put on your mask. Not because of the government, but because of your familiars. Okay, so yes, that. But also, what else are you doing? What are your protections? Are you saying your prayers? Are you doing your rituals? Are you taking your spiritual baths? Are you keeping your children close to you in a way that makes their souls feel safe? This is really about honoring the protection and realizing two is duality and discs are material world. Like, yes, everything's fucked up, and yes, everything's beautiful, and yes, we're safe, and no, we're not. Like, it all exists at once. So what are you doing in your community, in your family, to create the safety you need for your own spirit self and for your physical body? Because we are spiritual beings, and we live in a fucking body. So we have to take care of that body, okay? Eat your vegetables. If you're breastfeeding, keep breastfeeding. I've been thinking about weaning because, whoa, breastfeeding a toddler is a lot, but I'm like, you know what? My milk is immuno gold. Like, I could drink it, baby daddy could drink it, my whole family could drink it. I could put it on pink eye goes away. I could put it on a cut heals. Like, breast milk is fucking gold. So I'm keeping my breast milk until at least all this stuff is done. Once again, I don't care what you believe as far as who's right and who's wrong. What I care about is the love you show and the consideration you show to our familiars. We've suffered enough at the hands of the medical industrial complex, at the hands of the white cis fucking supremacy, caca. We've suffered enough, so take care of each other, yeah? Orale. Shaman, the Shaman of Cups. So this is once again a louder scream, a louder cry to tending your own fire. Okay, I have kind of a charge with shaman because of the way, specifically, you know, not to be a bitch, but it is what it is. Specifically, white people going into indigenous communities and learning shamanism in a weekend or a month or maybe a couple years, and then coming back to America because they had the motherfucking privilege to travel to Africa or South America first, right? And then coming back and being like, oh, I'm a shaman now, and calling themselves shamans and shit. I can't with all that. So I'm gonna get that out of the way because However, I do believe that we are all capable of being in communion with our own God self, for ourself. And when we are connected, when we are taking our time, when we are being with our water, when we're being with our food, when we're being with our plant life, when we're being present with our children, when we're not distracting ourselves from our pain, etc., we are engaging the shaman, the guru, the medicine person within. This is a call to tend to your fire. That means something different for everyone, okay? That means that maybe you wake up in the morning and you tend your fire. Maybe that means that you light your smoke every night. Maybe that means that you need to make more bone broth. I love how androgynous this figure is. Maybe this means that you need to really start honoring the you that your job never let you honor because it's COVID. Like, honestly, fuck your job. And, take what you will, what I say, with a grain of salt. There's also a lot of fish here. To me, that's like a call. It looks like there's some worms and snakes too, and plants and shells. That's a call to the fluidity of the times. We can't be too rigid right now, y'all. We can't be too like, this is the way it is and this is how it's going to be, because we don't really know. What we can do is be graceful with ourselves and our process. And this is a call to honor the internal fire of that process. If you have questions about that, let me know. All right. Last but certainly not least, the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands in any deck is one of the most movement-oriented, powerful cards. This is a person, an archer, shooting 8 torch arrows forth. So to me, this card is... The message coming through for this card is that you're already being carried. Okay, like, y'all don't have to do a lot. Like, follow the ripe yeses, follow the internal calls. Today I felt like dancing. I've been called to my medicine. One of my first medicines was dancing, and I don't share that enough because I've had like whatever my issues with my insecurities, with my upbringing, with am I good enough, am I not, going to Stanford, everybody's brilliant as fuck, right? All my colonialism, my internalized colonialism, but like the truth is I fucking love dancing, and creator and my inner guys have been like, that's es tu medicina, homegirl, like this is what you have to do. So I went for it, right? So this is like creator, the arrows are already in the air. The shots have already been made. COVID is already a thing. Black Lives Matter is already a thing. Decolonizing everything is already a thing. And I keep saying, right now is Chiron, who's the wounded healer, is in Aries, which is the warlike sign. So Chiron in the stars is in Aries for the next 6 years, and has been for a few months, I believe. I'm not exactly sure on that, but you can look it up. This means that the internalized need to heal is fast-paced right now. So this is Chiron's arrows being shot. We are on a long haul, at least for the next 6 years, to heal our shit, guys. And this is communal, this is universal, this is global. Okay, so if we're not riding the arrows, we're gonna be stabbed by them. Like, it's spiritual warfare out here, and I don't know how to say that in a more sugar-coated way, but be present and be ready. And go with the flow, because if you don't follow, if you don't vibe, you're going to get caught up in the resisting, and that's not going to be as easy. That's not going to be as easy. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Love you too, Sochi. Thank you, Hita. Love you too. Thank you for all the love, everyone. Prima, I love you. Hey, from Lakewood. Wow. I don't know what you're wowing, but I say a lot of shit. Sometimes I'm like, I talk too much, but I'm like, well, creator didn't make me a chatty lady for nothing. I'm going to use it. Santi, hey, thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Corazones, questions? Hornet's nest. How can we help our very young children and babies deal with psychic dissonance that is rife right now? I'm not sure what rife means. Maybe ripe. I don't know. That's hard. My partner took our 1.5-year-old to the museum during my workday yesterday, and they're like all masked and safety procedures, etc. at the museum. And he said there was this really like sad moment where there was a baby his age, a little girl, and there was like this exhibit, and they were pushing buttons, and the baby started on the other side, and they just were like looking at each other and not saying anything, and then pushing the buttons and getting closer and closer to each other. And my love and this mom were like looking at each other like, And then the babies like came together and like looked at each other, and they're little kids, and neither of them had a mask. And the mom came and was like, sorry, you can't play with him yet, not right now. And then my man got my baby and was like, yeah, it's weird times, not right now. And it was just fucking heartbreaking because our kids want to connect. And my little son, you know, if y'all know me and his dad, we're both extroverted AF, and we have a little extroverted baby, and he loves to be present with other people, and he just can't right now. So I don't really know the answer to that question. Let me ask. I'd say do as much like integrative action with them as possible. Sit on your porch, wave at people, say hello, talk from afar. I really love to integrate my son watering our plants and talking to the plants. He says hi to the ants. We talk to all of the animals, all of the creepy crawlies, all of the beetles, all of the plantas, all of the flowers. That's really good for them. And I would also say, like, get a hold of some compas. I know that there are certain restrictions and we have to feel comfortable where we're at, but I highly recommend having some people that you, even if they're not in your direct family, that you feel comfortable integrating your lives with, because honestly, our babies need that. So like, one of my besties has a baby, and we just check in where you've been, how you feeling, and we let the kids play, because I think it's worse for our hearts, our souls, our spirits, than not. And honestly as well, I keep myself and my family well fed on vegetables and fermented foods, etc., and breast milk, that our immunological systems are strong for the most part, and I trust that. That's what I have to say about that. I hope it's helpful. Okay. We need that too. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Right? So heartbreaking. Okay, Q Lab Cutie. I woke up with so much pain and crying today. This pain feels like healing, but also worry that I am just reaffirming negative patterns. How do I know which pain is the stuff I'm facing or healing? That's a really good question. Thank you for asking. Honestly, you're the only one who knows, and it's necessary to understand that there exists both. There exists emoting and expressing because the body needs to release to heal, but there also exists emoting and expressing because you're used to that as a coping mechanism, and maybe you get something from it, like in a victim mentality, right? So if you cry, somebody takes pity on you, and you like get from that. So you're the only one who knows, is this helping me or healing me? Now, when you start on the path of relearning your body and unlearning the conditioning you've been taught, your body will show you. For instance, if you're bawling your eyes out, if you're crying and your body goes, which we've all had that happen, that is your body's way of saying, all right, I think I've had enough. What's next? At that point, we have a choice to either say, no, my life sucks, and reify our pain place, or say, thank you, body, for expressing. I'm ready to heal now. So it's really up to you and your own observation of self. It's always also helpful to ask yourself some questions when these things happen, right? Like, okay, why am I crying? Let me name that. My comadre maestra Panquetzani, when she does meditations, one of the things she talks about in her womb space is to stay neutral. And if you see, if you feel an emotion come up, if you see it, you just let it leave. And when I first heard that, I was like, because my approach was always to like really be present with the emotion. But I also realized from particular patients of mine that it's kind of a cop-out. Sometimes emotions are a cop-out because you give all the attention to the emotion as opposed to giving attention to the healing. So you're the only one who can really know. Okay, explaining to children, even in spirit, that we live in duality. Things can be true. We can still hug, love, chat, people, hearts. Love cannot be contained even when it's so hard out there. Thank you for that. Just had a moment of being reminded to be as gentle as possible with ourselves. Thank you for that, 3 Spirit Boy. Yes, be gentle. How to not get wrapped up in the violence and fear. That's a hard question. I would say, like, keep yourself as far away from it as possible and keep yourself in as much joy and ritual as possible. And I know that's hard when it's right at your front door, but how can you and the people around you be supported in your yes place, even amidst the energetics of the area? And it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of spiritual work, but it's possible. Yeah, I don't have a better answer for that. As always, y'all are welcome to hire me for a personal consult. Link is in my bio or at musemedicina.com. You can support me Cash App, Muse Medicina, Venmo, Eutimia-Montoya, and PayPal, eutimia@gmail.com. Myself and my comadre Charmaine Bravo of Charmed Life Wellness do a new moon and a full moon ritual every new and full moon at the time of the new and full moon, and that also goes up on my bio a few days previous, or leading up to that. So take a look out for that, and share far and wide any of these readings. And thank you for your support, and thank you for being present in your healing. Many blessings. Ciao.